Hello crazy fam, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, this isn't my typical style of sit down videos, but I feel like crap, so you're getting a video from my bed. And we will see how many people don't end up getting to see this video because I say the words COVID-19. And well, YouTube doesn't like those words. I decided in this video, since I feel like total and utter crap, that I'm not going to do a normal sit down video like I do on figuring out adulting while I'm trying to figure it out myself. So instead, I'm going to give you a video on what COVID testing is like, because it's been changing so much throughout the time, and I know it's different in different areas, but I never had to go through the experience myself because I never had any real symptoms that were worthy of going to get a test. And now, well, I do, and so I know the whole experience from start to getting the test done. I don't have my results yet. I will hopefully have them soon. Hopefully I will not have it. Whether you have symptoms and you're wondering what this process is going to be like, or you don't have any yet and you want to kind of have a heads up because, well, it's flu season. A lot more people are going to get COVID. As it is, the numbers are skyrocketing again, hitting historical highs again. So if you want to know what it's like, this video is definitely for you. I'm going to talk about what it's like with insurance, without insurance, what it's like getting the test actually done, how reimbursement works, how everything works. And then I'm also going to show you actual video of me getting the test done. And other than that, I'd really appreciate if you go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down below to join the crazy fam if you haven't already, because I am loyal to every single one of you. I am posting a video even when I'm sick and I feel like crap. It might not be the best video, but it's still cool and interesting type of video. So I'd really appreciate if you help me out on my journey and hit that like and subscribe button. We are growing slowly, but I am loving the journey. And let's get right into the talk about, COVID. I just came back from being tested for COVID-19. Let me take off my mask. I literally came back and I took a nap and another nap. I set a timer and, well, another nap happened. So I have to first start by saying that depending on your area, it might be completely different for testing. LA is a little bit easier. We have a lot of testing centers. There was a lot of things within a quick distance to me, so that wasn't as much of a problem. So I don't know how far you'll have to travel for yours or how many will be even a realistic distance away from you, because if you live in the middle of nowhere, you might have to drive an hour to do a test. I had to drive 10 minutes to do my test, and that was pretty gosh darn great, I thought. But I learned very quickly that the process is not an easy one when it comes to insurance, though I'm so lucky that I do have insurance, because I don't know if there's any facilities that actually do it for free. I think it really just depends on your area, because a lot of the places that I went to, if you wanted out of pocket, it ranged from $150 to $250, depending on what tests you want to get done. Though the average, just the COVID test alone, usually I saw was $150 or $175 for just that, and it had a return of about 24 hours. But mine's gonna be 48 because I decided to do mine a little bit different. I decided to do my test through insurance, which was very hard to do. So I'm kind of explaining to you that if your insurance covers it, which most insurances are covering everything related to COVID, the testing, treatments, all that is being covered by most good insurance. It's not a high deductible type insurance. Most are covering it, and they're doing no cost sharing, I believe it's called. And that basically means I don't pay my copay, I don't pay the other fees that are associated with it sometimes, as long as it's purely COVID related. And so I was like, well, I guess that means I'm going to a testing facility. But then after looking after testing facility after testing facility after testing facility, it was you paid the upfront costs and then you turned in the paperwork to be reimbursed by your insurance. Now, depending on what your insurance is like, that process can be gosh darn annoying because you have no idea really per se when you're going to be getting the money back. And I wasn't really down for that because it's expensive upfront costs that I would have to do the work to get reimbursed. And with my insurance, what you had to do was you had to get a referral code and a diagnostic code and the tax ID number. All three of those things had to be met for you to be able to even file for reimbursement, let alone get it. And that is a very important thing that you should know what your insurance needs to be able to reimburse you for it if it is covered. Because I almost went to a testing facility, which was one of those ones where you get it by midnight that night. I'm like, that is so convenient. That's such a quick test result. I haven't found any place as quick as that. And I almost went to it because of the fact that they weren't answering their phones, annoying, and you could make an appointment online, but you had to pay for it ahead of time. And that meant I couldn't ask them if they were going to give me all this information. I kind of assumed that everyone would give that information, right? Because why wouldn't they want you to be able to be reimbursed by insurance? Well, no, they didn't give those numbers. Right away when I asked what codes they would give me, like not even going into full depth, she knew right away what my question was going to be. And she said, we only give out a tax number. We do not have a diagnostic number. We do not have a, whatchamacallit. What was the other one I just said? Well, I just said it. You know what I'm talking about. They wouldn't give out those two codes, which meant I couldn't have been reimbursed by my insurance, and I almost paid that upfront cost, and I wouldn't have been able to get reimbursed by my insurance. So be careful if that's what you're going to end up doing. But then I found another facility where they would email you the information to send to your insurance after you did the test and all that. And with that, what my insurance had me do is you get all those numbers, go online, print out a form, fill it out, mail it in, or fax it in. I don't know if it's one or both. And then they would get back to you on a reimbursement, and it wasn't completely sure how long it would take. Which I wasn't really happy to do that, so I kept looking, and I found out about the CVS Wellness Center, and I found out that those places are covered within my insurance. So if it is covered by your insurance in the sense of it's in network, like it is a PPO, I believe it's called, then my insurance would cover it and the place would fill the paperwork out for me so I wouldn't have to pay anything up front. Maybe possibly a copay depending on how they decide to do the appointments. They were just going to do the test, or they were going to cover it as you visiting a doctor before they decide to test you. So it kind of just depends on how they decide to file it and what your CVS does, but you should definitely look around for those, because when I looked up testing centers, the CVS ones didn't come up. You had to look those up separately on the CVS website. I only found out about the CVS test because my mom saw commercials for it and stuff like that and told me to look it up, because like I said, when I Googled it, it didn't come up when the testing center things was listed. You have to go to their website, put in your area code, and look at the locations around you. And then depending on where you are, they have the lab test version and they have the, the rapid testing version. There is a difference. Some people say the lab testing is more accurate and will pick up more than the instant one would, but I wanted instant because I live with people and I didn't want to take that risk. I don't personally think that I have COVID, but I want to be safer than sorry because one of my roommates goes to work on a regular basis. So I wanted something a lot quicker than the lab test, which took 2 to 3 days when it was at the CVS location, which honestly wouldn't have been that big of a deal because I don't per se have all of the symptoms that are associated with COVID. But I do have some of them and I wanted to be careful, so I did ideally want it sooner. But I'm like, you know what? If this is the only place that I can find that I don't have to do that reimbursement with my insurance and deal with all that crap, then I'll go to it. So I filled out the information, I put in my symptoms, and it lists the locations. And it lists the days. It does 3 days, you can go 3 days out, that's the farthest out you can go. And all 3 locations that were within a reasonable distance to me did not have available appointments until I selected the 3rd day. So today is Tuesday, it would have been Wednesday, Thursday. I wouldn't have been tested until Friday. And then that Friday meant that if I decided to take that lab test appointment, that would be 3 days away from now, and then 3 more days until I actually got my results. So that's 6 days. That's a long time. That's if they do results on weekends, which I'm not even sure if they count weekend days. So I wasn't down for it, but if that's the only option that's close and convenient for you, that might be a great option for you. I, per se, did not think it was worth it to me because of having roommates and the risks associated with one of them going out. So I kept searching. I kept searching and searching for things around me and looking at their website to try to see what they would do. I found what is it called, same day testing, and it had a location near me, it was 10 minutes away. It was great. They had 3 different types of appointments. They had walk-ins, which wasn't preferred. They prefer you do an appointment. Then they had results that be within 24 hours if you paid the upfront costs and filed for your insurance yourself, or you pay out of pocket completely if you didn't have insurance. Then the 3rd option was if you wanted to use your insurance, then it would be a result within 48 hours because they would file all the paperwork with your insurance and you would have to pay a cent. And that is what I decided to do. Since I didn't have that many symptoms, I have a sore throat. I have a post-nasal drip that's causing the sore throat, and I've been starting to get some chest pain when I'm trying to breathe, which leads it a little bit more to be COVID-like because of the chest pains and stuff. And I have a blazing headache all the time. So my head hurts and I feel like lightheaded because of my head hurting, and then I feel nauseous because of being lightheaded and my head hurting. But either way, I'm not coughing, I don't have a high fever or anything, I checked that. So I still went with the 48 hours to save the time and effort on my part of trying to get the money back from my insurance. And it's still a lot faster than doing the CVS like minute clinic thing because mine didn't have appointments anytime soon. And it was even closer and convenient than any of the other locations were because it was 10 minutes away. So it was great. And as for the actual test, now I know a lot of people say different things about how the test went and what it feels like. So for me personally, I don't know if they did the same nostril test that I see in all those videos, or they shove it like way up there and they're in the car and it's like extremely painful. Because for me, I walked up, the line was separated by 6 feet, parking wasn't too bad, there wasn't many parking spots at the location, but there's plenty of street parking nearby, which is what I ended up doing because I didn't want to try to pull into that little lot with barely any parking. And I parked and I got in line. It was 6 feet apart. There was really cute decorations. Like, I didn't expect a COVID center to be so cute, but it's probably because it was in Venice in California on Abercrombie. If you know Abercrombie, it's kind of more bougie. And so there was like cactuses and string lights and free stuff. So I'll actually show you what I got for free stuff. I think it's still in my sweatshirt. Let's see. Because this is the sweatshirt I wore there, and I covered myself in a bunch of hand sanitizer and such so that hopefully I don't have any COVID come home with me from all the other people testing. But I got a free little hand sanitizer thing at the desk. I got a free sticker because it's like part of their logo for the same day testing center. And I also got a mask. I'm not really sure where I put that. I think it fell out of my pocket when I was taking a nap when I got back. But I did get a free mask, and it's actually pretty gosh darn comfortable, which I was happy about. And I know this doesn't really have much to do with testing centers, but hey, if you gotta get tested, you might as well get free stuff. So then after I get to the line, like I go through the line at the front, which was separated by 6 feet, you go to this desk to like check in, and I had a reservation already or an appointment. So they scanned my little appointment thingy that was on my phone that went through email, so it made it super easy, no contact touching stuff. And even my ID, she didn't touch it, I just held it out for her. But it was funny because I brought hand sanitizer with me, so when she asked for the ID, I like put hand sanitizer in my hand, I rubbed it all around my hands and my card, and then I was gonna hand it to her, and she said, oh no, I just need to look at it, because the other girl was taking cards, and the card she actually needed to be handed to her, but the ID she didn't. So all I needed was the ID to check in for the appointment and the little barcode thingy, so they knew that I had like an appointment and all, and then they wrote my name on this little tube thing, and then they had me bring that over to the other like desk tent area, and they sprayed down the chairs in between each person. The person that was doing my test, he had like a full out like face mask, shield, he had one of those like full out like scrub situation, like the throwaway ones. If I can find a picture, I'll throw it up on the screen. But it was funny because the other person, there was 2 lines, the other person doing the test, all she was wearing was a face mask. And I was like, why is this guy like full out geared out and she's just wearing a face mask? That seems a little odd. And I also thought it was odd because one of the people at the check-in desk, she was wearing her mask, but she was one of those people wearing her mask like this, like with her complete nose out. And I'm like, girl, you at a testing center. Like, all these people think they might got COVID, and you not gonna cover your nose? Either way, it was still good. Maybe it just slipped and she honestly didn't notice. I just thought it was weird that no one said anything to her at the testing center. Like, coworker, like, hey, your nose is exposed and this person in line is coughing. But, you know, is what it is. I'm not responsible for her health. I am only responsible for my own and the people around me. Now, as for the actual test, this is a weird position, so I'm going to read this. As for the actual test, it got shoved up my nose. I have video of it that I will show you now.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this out, drag it to your nostril for 10 seconds, and as soon as you finish coughing, just cough inside your mask.
So wait, try not to like cough in my mask if I need to?
Yeah.
Okay.
So lower your mask until your nose is closed, your cover mouth is mask. Alright. Are you started filming right now?
Yeah. You're not in it. It's just me.
Let me just wave it. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Most of our positives are just the mildest to mild, they're not actually cold. Oh yeah, most of 99% of patients have it symptomatic. No fever? No, it's just one little thing.
Oh, yeah, you're ready to go.
Okay, perfect. So now I was kind of upbeat in that video, probably depending on what I got, because I kind of was like, can I film? And the guy was kind of weird, but he said yes. And so I was like, What was I gonna say? So I don't know what I fully got as a clip to show you guys how I got tested and what it was like, but I was a little upbeat because that's how I am around people. But as for being home, I'm literally like dying. But not literally, okay? I just feel half dead. But point is, they put it up my nose, and honestly, I thought he was gonna go further in my nose. It wasn't bad at all. It wasn't painful for me. It was easy. I barely felt it. So I don't know if it was just a different test. And there's another test that goes like higher up, but it wasn't bad. So hopefully it's like an accurate test and everything. So if you go get it, I can't let you know if it would be like the videos where people get it and like, oh my God, it's practically in my brain. For me, it was like, it was up there, but I didn't really notice it. Like, it wasn't bad. And it's not like I shove other things up my nose and have an adjustment to it. So I'm pretty sure if you have the same test as I had, it will feel the same way, where it doesn't really hurt. So it wasn't bad at all. They did have me blow my nose before the test, which I'm guessing it's to get any of the stuff out of your nose, but I don't have a runny nose at all. It's like dripping all behind my throat. So there wasn't anything to blow out, but I still did as they asked. And it was annoying because as I blow my nose and went to go throw it in the trash can, I open the lid to the trash can. It's like really full. I stick it on top, and as it's closing, it blows away. And I'm like, so I had to like go run after my tissue. I'm like running after my tissue. I picked it up and then I put it back in the trash as everybody's watching me. I'm like, fudge my life. But whatever. And then that's when I sat down for the actual like test thing. And then after I got it done, like I said, it wasn't bad at all. And then when I was done, I was like, is there anything else? And he's like, no. He's like, just keep an eye out for email on updates and stuff like that. And right afterwards, they texted me and emailed me. They texted me letting me know that my results were like cataloged or whatever, and that they're going to be sent over to the testing center. And then I also got an email with the same thing, and both of them had a link where I can track the update of like what's going on, so I would know, you know, is it at the testing center, is it ready, is it done? All that information would be online with that link that they sent me, which I found was really convenient. Everything was really easy. Like, I would definitely recommend this company if you guys have one near you. It's like way better than I ever expected from a testing center. And also, they were the people that actually answered their phone when I called them. They were also, all things were online. You didn't have to call for stuff. You didn't have to do all this crazy stuff. I didn't have to pay ahead of time with my insurance. So overall, I would definitely recommend them. I don't know if I have COVID, so this isn't a video on I got COVID or I didn't get COVID or all that. It's just kind of talking about my whole entire experience with it. Other than that, I'm just waiting for my results and staying home and hoping I don't have it. And even if I don't have COVID, I'm hoping I don't have other things, because now that this like chest pain is starting, I'm like, gosh darn it, please tell me I don't have pneumonia, because I've definitely had pneumonia a few times. But other than that, like, I don't feel that bad. I've been getting more symptoms as the time goes along though, so that kind of sucks. But overall, I'm happy I was able to find a testing center that worked with my insurance and all that. I would just say, call your insurance, ask what they need for information on all the codes and all of that, and how they do the reimbursement policy, because a lot of places will be reimbursement unless it's an in-network place. And I didn't even talk about the idea of going to my doctor and doing it that way, so I will mention that quickly. So let's say you wanted to go to your doctor and do all this. It really depends on your doctor's policy. Some won't test you unless you have symptoms. Some won't test you if you have symptoms. Some will make you have a order. So mine was the one where you had to have an order. So for UCLA Health Centers, which is where my insurance is covered, and I find it just the easiest place to go to, because I always know it's going to be like in network. Not that it doesn't need to be a network, but it needs to be a network for them to do the insurance stuff for you. So the point is, I called them, and they have all these crazy, annoying procedures that you have to follow. So number one, I had to have a video conference call with my doctor. I would have to pay my copay because it would be a regular checkup, not a COVID-related thing. And they would have to place an order into their COVID, testing center place or whatever, so that I could even make an appointment to get a test. So once they send that order in, I have to call the facility, make sure they got the order, figure out what locations are near me, because the closest one to me, they said they only do children. And so I'd have to try to find a location close to me and make an appointment. Then I'd also have to wait for the results, and all of that was a huge process that would have taken a lot longer. And throughout that whole entire steps, where I only got to step 2-ish, I realized that one, I would have to pay my copay, which I didn't want to have to do. Also, I would have to wait gosh knows how long, because the fact they couldn't even tell me when an appointment would be available or how far I would have to go for an appointment until I had an order placed. And I don't want to have to place an order because what happens if I place an order and the location's really far away or can't see me for a week? So it was not the right option for me, but you really just have to call around to places around you and then know that CVS Minute Clinics do the testing in most areas. But you have to go directly to their website to know all the information on that, because for me, it did not come up on a Google search. When I tested COVID centers, it did not come up. But the same day place did come up, and thank goodness when I went on their website, they did allow for the insurance thing. So if you end up finding a location that does take your insurance, if it ends up being like mine, what I had to do was I had to fill out my name, email, birthday, all that general type of information, and then I took a picture of the front and the back of my insurance card, and then I put in my insurance like card number that's like R something and a bunch of other stuff after it. And you had to put that number in, and then it was easy as that. I didn't pay anything, I didn't do nothing, and then I confirmed the appointment time. So they do all the work for me, and hopefully it all works out and they're able to get everything with insurance, because I'm like, what happens if they call me in 48 hours and like, we can't give you your test results because we couldn't get a hold of your insurance? That would really suck. But I will update you on my vlogs with more information on what my results were and what it was like getting them back and all that different information. I will link my vlog channel down below. This is my main channel. I don't normally do videos like this in my bed and moving around. I normally do it on a tripod where it looks all nice and fancy and has good lighting. Sometimes I'm good at the lighting, sometimes I'm bad at lighting. But point is, it's normally more professional, but I feel like crap, so I knew I wasn't down to do a full out video for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video on my experience. I will see you next Wednesday with hopefully a more sit-down professional video on helping you figure out adulting while I'm attempting to figure it out myself. And then I post vlogs on Monday and Friday on my vlog channel, and I hope you have a great rest of your morning, evening, night, whatever it is for you crazy fam. I'll see you soon. Stay safe.